Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My children told me yesterday that the cool teachers are the ones who play videos in class, so I shamelessly decided to start today's presentation with a video. I think I have that graveyard shift right before lunch as well, so I'm going to try to keep it interesting and engaging for you today. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak today on the power of partnerships. I'm really thrilled to be here, and I have to say thank you to Cyrus as well, because the last part of his presentation actually sets this conversation up perfectly. Hopefully, the video that we just showed highlights the sheer complexity of what we do every single day. For the end user, as the video shows, it is the click of a button. And then, magically, the money appears somewhere on the other side of the world. But so much happens in those few seconds and minutes, which I'll go into in a little while. We all know in here that changing customer behaviors and certainly their expectations have mandated the adoption of technology in everyday life that is fundamentally changing how we do payments. They have to be faster, they have to be instant, they have to be frictionless, they have to be cheaper. In fact, a payment has become the commodity with both placement and service delivery, the differentiators today. These changes impact every single one of us in here, from the smallest and newest startups to big global banks. And the business imperative for all of us is actually how do we stay relevant, and I mean top of mind for our customers. How do businesses become as prevalent in the everyday lives of consumers and small businesses as social media is? And one way that we as a company are growing in relevance is through partnerships. We're hearing this word partnerships a lot at the moment. As a matter of fact, I would say that whole conferences are being built around this concept. It seems that it has become the new blockchain of a few years ago. But why is this and why now? Well, the reality is that some of the customer trends that I was talking about are not changing or slowing down. They're accelerating. To name a few, there is this expectation around immediacy and system availability and huge levels of impatience when those things are not there. The slowdown, or actually almost a complete halt of app downloads on mobile devices and tablets is also changing how we engage with customers. And finally, there's this expectation or desire to be able to access multiple services with just one logon. All of these dynamics are making it harder and harder for us to have that everyday relevance for our customers in the same way that Facebook is, or in the case of my 12-year-old daughter, Instagram, on which she tends to spend at least 6 hours a day. Customer loyalty is also not what it was, with customers willing to shop around and use multiple providers or a combination of those providers to actually get what it is that they're looking for. And I, for one, never once predicted the role that social media would play in my ability to do business, whether that's actually attracting talent or whether it's making a sale, those peer reviews that we all see and sometimes fear are playing a huge role in loyalty. These dynamics, coupled with the fact that we as companies have finite human resource, financial resource, and technology resource, all of which are often in conflict with each other and competing for projects, have driven us over time to where we're not just working on finding the next new thing by new innovation, but also by really looking at innovation through combining assets and capabilities with third parties. So today, and unlike, I'm sorry, what it says in the printed program, hopefully it was correct online, I'm not exploring new banking models in fintech. However, I will touch on that because we do a lot of work with banks, which I will touch on later. But I plan on spending the next couple of minutes talking to you about not only who we are as a company, but also the model that we have for successfully partnering with companies that may surprise you from around the world in a variety of sectors and industries. I think we've actually not, I have not been doing my job. So, I love attending conferences like this one today, mainly because I love seeing surprise when I show slides like this and I talk about who we are and what it is that we do as a company. I was recently invited to participate in a roundtable discussion where someone looked at me and said, oh, you're that US telegram company. And we were, about 165 years ago, that US telegram company, but I'm really pleased that we have moved on. It certainly makes my job a lot more interesting. As you may already be aware, we built out what I consider an unrivaled retail footprint around the globe in partnership with our agents. But what you probably don't know is that we also have a huge portfolio of other partners. Those where we've actually identified synergies and where we've matched needs between the two parties to allow both Western Union as well as the partner to serve our customers in unique and different ways and offering a broader range of products and services. The reasons that companies choose to partner with us are completely different from one to the next. This retail footprint that I'm talking about, that I honestly don't believe anyone else has in the world, we maintain a network that is actually bigger than if you were to add Starbucks, McDonald's, Subway, and 7-Elevens globally together. But that retail footprint becomes really interesting if you're a digital company that doesn't have bricks and mortar. It also becomes a really interesting way of accessing the billions of cash consumers around the world that don't participate in formal financial systems. For retailers, traditional retailers, digital asset placement becomes really important. We give them web or app access for their customers, or simply offer them the convenience of digitally staging a transaction and then fulfilling that at one of our retail locations. We also let, and I'll come onto this in a second, and it's the reason I wanted to show that video at the front, we let our partners leverage all or part of our payment rails on a white label basis. And that's whether it's to solve an operational efficiency or to offer services that might not be core to that particular company. We have lots of partners around the world, including ones like ICICI Bank UK, who I believe are meant to be in the audience today, where we give them our capabilities and assets and allow them to use them on a white label basis. And we're open to partnering with businesses of all shapes and sizes. Today, we service more than 3/4 of UK education institutions by giving them a way to facilitate incoming foreign student tuition payments. We work with NGOs around the globe to help them deliver cash in a transparent and safe way into humanitarian crisis areas. We leverage that retail footprint that I keep coming back to for things like proof of life for pension administrators and things like data collection for pensioners living abroad by sending one or more payments a year that the pensioner has to go and collect in cash at a location. We help banks solve things like cost-effective delivery of high-volume, low-value payments. And I can tell you, having spent 7 years at Citibank early on in my career, I would have bitten someone's arm off to be able to outsource that. We've also embedded our money transfer capabilities in social media environments like WeChat and Facebook. And that's because we want to be exactly where it is that we know our customers and future customers are. In each case, though, there's value for both us and for the partner in combining these assets and customer bases in a different and unique way. In addition to these partner portfolios, I actually love showing this slide, and I won't go into all of the numbers on here, but to highlight a few, we do business and are licensed to do so in more than 200 countries and territories around the world. As a matter of fact, there's only 2 where we don't do business today, and those are North Korea and Iran. We have this huge retail footprint with more than 550,000 retail locations, and those are in urban areas and the most remote corners of the world. Last year, we processed more than 500 million transactions for both consumers and businesses, moving more than $150 billion in principal. And we have huge and very highly trusted brand awareness globally. Our customers tell us that our brand is synonymous with both trust and reliability. When funds go into our rails, they know that they will be delivered as intended. And then my favorite stat on here is the one right at the very top, which is we complete a staggering 31 transactions a second across borders. Now, how is all of this relevant to what we're talking about today? Our 2020 vision, and when we talk about where we're heading as a company, is pretty simple. We want to be the leader in cross-border, cross-currency money movement and payments, and enable any customer to move funds at any time, through any channel, in any currency, to anywhere around the globe. We're structured around 2 business units, the one that we're probably best known for, which is consumer money transfer, or the consumer-to-consumer use case. But we also have a payments business unit that services small business all the way up to corporates, as well as verticals like NGOs and education institutions, but really are any payment originating from or being paid to a business. And to service those customers, both businesses and consumers, those who pay and put funds into our rails, we've built out a set of leading capabilities over time. It's made up of our technology, it's made up our foreign exchange and settlement capabilities, and it's actually leveraging the expertise that we have in moving money across 200 borders with regulatory compliance. We've also developed this payout network on the right-hand side here that spans everything from our bricks and mortars retail footprint to bank accounts, mobile wallets, and even onto social media platforms like WeChat and Viber that I referenced earlier. What is notable, and certainly something I hope will be a surprise to many of you today, is that our strategy has evolved. We're no longer saying we have these capabilities just to service our own customers. We're saying, how can we offer out these assets and capabilities to third parties and partners who have a need to move money across borders? And we've challenged our own thinking. Is it important that it's our brand? Is it even important that it's our customer? Or can we drive usage of our capabilities by opening up this platform that we have right here in the middle to new industries? And the answer to this question, can we drive non-Western Union traffic onto our rails, is a resounding yes. The way that we think about our partner ecosystem is shown here. This ecosystem can be tailored and leveraged very differently depending on the partner need and also the need of their end users. But it brings the experience of our people and our solutions to our partners, which in turn benefits them as well as their users. To break down a few of the things that you see here, we have a huge licensing portfolio that allows us to do business in all but those 2 countries that I referenced earlier. We have built a platform that gives us the ability to quickly analyze big data, as well as giving us monitoring, modeling, and content management tools. From an FX and settlement perspective, we move money across 16,000 currency pairs daily and settle with more than 500,000 agents on a daily basis. And from a compliance and risk perspective, I would argue that we've built an unrivaled expertise in managing compliance and risk in all 200 countries where we operate. As a matter of fact, more than 20% of our global workforce is dedicated purely on compliance and regulatory issues. We have built out, again, state-of-the-art risk decisioning, and wherever possible, we make real-time risk assessments, leveraging more than 50 statistical models and data from more than 20 vendors and consortiums. Our payments team has worked tirelessly to build out funds collections capabilities, meaning that we can accept a variety of local and international funding methods in those 130 currencies that I talked about. And from a payout perspective, we can deliver money in cash to those 550,000 agent locations, but also to more than 3 billion bank accounts, more than 100,000 ATMs and kiosks, as well as to mobile wallets. And finally, from a customer support perspective, we have 5,000 CSRs who offer literally follow the sun 24/7, 365 support in more than 30 languages. And we're continuing to evolve this partner ecosystem. We can now bring this ecosystem to life for our partners in its entirety or in segments, depending on what they need. If you add all of those things up that I just referenced, it's easy to see why some of these assets and capabilities make it compelling for companies to approach us wanting to partner. The reason's totally different, as I said already. They differ by industry, they differ by need, and by the end use case. Some want to offer payments or money transfer services to their customer, stop them from going across the road and doing something in their own environment. Some want to learn about the digital behavior of their consumers, both in terms of how to market to them digitally effectively, but also seeing how they actually engage online if it's a traditional retail relationship. As you can see on here, we've highlighted some of the benefits: footfall, traffic, and digital assets for sure, loyalty and the ability to cross-sell, solving for those governance and transparency issues that we know are big problems for sectors like NGOs, providing new access to markets as well as currencies, and it's amazing how many bank partnerships we actually have that use us for that type of service. And then differentiating both from the competition as well as industry disruptors by building out a comprehensive portfolio of pay-in and pay-out methods, including things like MasterCard and Apple Pay. And the reason that this slide is important in my mind is because that where we've had success in partnerships, we've really spent time understanding both the industry and the marketplace dynamics of our partners. We need to be able to understand and appreciate the challenges, pain points, and unique requirements that each type of partner has. And while we hear, as I said earlier, that some now think payments are a commodity, and that it's a margin game between players, and that it will ultimately be free because we've got new, agile, digital competitors, the way that we actually offer solutions to our partnerships is not standard. And we do not charge them 10% for this service either. We recognize that actually one size does not fit all and cannot fit all, and that's where we seek to add value to our partners. To reinforce this point, I wanted to show you this visual of our product ecosystem. It shows how we've actually packaged our platform capabilities around partner industries, around marketplace pain points, as well as customer needs. And to highlight just a few, we have a product called MassPay that we use to allow customers to plug into our business solutions global payments network directly into their own product or platform. We have this platform called Global Pay for Students that we built to specifically address the needs of education institutions and language schools around the world, to ease the pain of both collecting and reconciling payments coming in from foreign students. We've built out this platform that was actually a commitment made by our CEO at the Clinton Global Initiative back in 2012 that gives NGOs the ability to safely deliver cash into crisis areas. And finally, and most recently, we are talking to our partners about a digital hosted solution. We have our own Western Union branded solution, which is now available as an app in 23 countries. And we know that more than 65% of all of our digital transactions originate from a mobile device. So we're opening up this capability to third parties, giving them branded or co-branded apps and websites that can be embedded in their own digital environment with limited integration or IT investment required. And when I go in and talk to partners about this, and I say, guess what? I'm gonna make it so that your customers can do transactions online. And by the way, we're gonna take KYC and do it for you. We're gonna take AML reporting, and we're gonna do that for you too. We're gonna take risk management and fraud management and do that for you. You can imagine the types of conversations and the appetite that we're having from partners. As I hope I have demonstrated, partnerships that really give these true mutual benefits are the ones that are exciting and that drive differentiation for us and for our partners from competitors and disruptors. These are the most attractive and the most effective partnerships. And today I am delighted to announce our partnership with a true fintech player, Bud. And our partner is sitting right there, which is nice. Bud is the first and only open banking platform to be regulated by the FCA, and they have built a technology platform that brings all financial services into one place. Through a 360-degree view of a user's complete financial world, Bud uses data insights and smart algorithms to suggest relevant services to the users. Our partnership has actually been structured to be two-phase. In phase one, there will be a referral link on Bud's website, taking customers to woo.com, where they can register and send money to the 3 billion bank accounts and 550,000 agent locations I spoke of. Phase two will start in early 2018, when we will begin an integrated partnership where Bud will connect via APIs, enabling customers to fulfill transactions directly on their website, with Bud's brand being at the forefront and Woo taking more of a back seat by taking care of all the KYC, fraud, and compliance checks in Bud's domain. This partnership is not only going to bring us new customer demographics, but it's going to allow Bud to expand its payment network. In other words, we're both building relevance in the market and to our customers. I personally am really proud to be partnering with Bud. They were recognized at the forefront of innovation in the industry by winning the Innovation of the Year 2017 awards from British Bank Awards. And there is a lot more to come on this partnership, but suffice it to say, these are exciting times ahead of us. It would be remiss of me not to mention another very important and powerful aspect of partnerships. It is really easy for me on a daily basis to look at my P&L and to say, I see the economic and the commercial benefit of partnerships. But working for a very purpose-driven company, we also see firsthand that it's not just our partners and our bottom lines that are helped by the power of partnerships, it's also the communities in which we operate. As a company, every day, we partner to improve access to financial services and inclusion around the world, to deliver money where it's needed, critically, and in some cases, literally, to save lives. And I wanted to share with you a recent example of where we combined assets and thought more creatively with our partners to help thousands of people in need. I'm sure all of you saw on BBC and in the press that North America was hit by an unprecedented number of hurricanes in August and September of this year. Harvey was first. It was a Category 4 storm that left 32,000 people displaced. And shortly thereafter, Hurricane Irma, another Category 4 hurricane, and thousands more were left homeless. But for us as a company, these were pretty easy to respond to, because we literally just put people in cars and said, get to the affected area, get our network of agents back up and running quickly, and make sure that people have access to cash for their daily needs. And that's what we did. I was in the Keys, in the Florida Keys, a couple of weeks ago myself, and the devastation is real. I mean, furniture, houses, appliances piled up 10, 20 meters high on the side of the road. But I went into some of our agent locations and I saw the people queuing up for money, and the fact is that people are still sending them money to rebuild their lives. But we were really tested with Hurricane Maria when it hit the island of Puerto Rico. It was another Category 4 storm that hung around for 2 full days and was, I'm told, the worst storm that they've seen there in nearly 90 years. People were isolated, they were cut off, it was complete devastation. And it was really hard for us to actually get there because there was no electricity, no running water, no mobile coverage, no communications, and quite literally, all the cash on the island had been destroyed in the storm. We knew that actually the most powerful aid that we could deliver was to get our agent locations back up and running quickly. But there were no commercial airlines flying, and as you may or may not also have read in the press, both the government and the Federal Reserve took a little bit of time in planning how they were going to respond to this. Our CEO was not happy to sit around and wait, so we actually partnered with other businesses and leveraged our and their assets to get there faster. We chartered a plane, we got cash from one of our bank partners, and I wish I had a photo of this, but $5 million in small banknotes is massive. And we got to the island, bringing satellite phones with us to get the network back up and running so we could communicate with our agents. We very quickly reopened 30 locations and leveraged social media and our digital channels to get the word out. And within 30 days, we had more than 200 agents ready to transact and had distributed more than $1 million in principal that had been sent from outside of Puerto Rico to help family and friends. The work isn't over. Puerto Rico is, by all accounts, still in a bad state, with around 60% of households without electricity or shelter. But we're now really actively partnering with our agents, with our NGO partners, and with our bank partners to continue to move money for better. These cases are extreme, but the reality is that as a company, we see the commercial and the humanitarian benefit of our partnerships in everything we do. We literally are never closed for business. And that's how, through partnerships, we continue to grow in relevance today. Thank you very much for your time.